And we're live on a Tuesday morning coming to you from the Cyber-Recon fake server room. Today we are jumping off into April early. We are going to jump into the Security Plus training boot camp cram session. Knowing that a lot of people are home in April, we're going to push to get through the entirety of the Security Plus common body of knowledge in April. It's going to be a tough run, but we're going to run through it. So starting today, we're starting out with the first domain. We're going to jump in and talk about threats, attacks, and vulnerabilities, things that are going to attack your computer, come at you live. We've got a fresh cup of Illy coffee in our Great Smoky Mountains cup. After the little intro, let's jump into viruses, Trojans, and worms. Wow, a full day. We've got a run coming at you today. First of all, crazy day of the day. It is National Crayon Day. Being in the Army, there's a ton of jokes the services make about the Marine Corps and crayons, and I'll leave that up to you. Just inner service rivalry. Love all the services, love all the emergency responders and the folks working. Keep at it. So let's jump in. In Security Plus, the first domain is threats, attacks, and vulnerabilities. The first topic in the first domain is determine the types of malware. I had to look at that to make sure we're getting it right. So jumping in, one of the topics in that area is viruses, worms, and Trojan horses. And this is really the first chunk of what's going on in viruses, right? So 1.1 in the Security Plus body of knowledge is given a scenario, analyze indicators of compromise, and determine the type of malware. So we're going to go through, we're going to figure out what is the difference between all of these different types of malware. And I'm going to give you my view of things, and I'm also going to make sure you know the information, the book, the topic, CompTIA, everybody wants you to know. So jumping right in, viruses. First of all, virus is a soft program. It requires user interaction. It spreads from one file to another, and it can change code on its own, which is a term called polymorphic. And it attaches to other files. So the big thing you need to drive home with viruses, viruses require user interaction. They attach to a file, and they require user interaction. If I could like bang my foot on the floor or something like that, I would let you know, this is an important topic about viruses. It requires user interaction. Important to know. That's really the big differentiator for a virus, that it requires someone to do something. It requires you to click a link, open a file. It requires some type of action. That's the difference from a virus. It can change code on its own. It's got the ability to do that. But a lot of things can do that. No, it needs user interaction. It needs someone to do something, or it's not going to happen. But it's part of its code inside of another program. It attaches to files. Another important point. A worm is similar to a virus because it's code, but it's self-replicating. That means it doesn't require user action. It is self-replicating. It moves on its own. It does not need user interaction. So, big key there. Virus needs user interaction. Worm does not need user interaction. So, what a worm does is normally it cruises around the network and it looks for vulnerabilities. It'll look for open vulnerabilities in different types of devices, operating systems for computers or servers, network operating systems for network devices, even like iOS and Android operating systems for phones. So it's going to look for vulnerabilities that haven't been patched. And a lot of times we can stop worms just by patching our systems. There's a lot of patches that kill the ability for a worm to get into your system. So does not require user interaction, and can go from one place to another. It's written, it's code. In that way, it's similar to a virus, but it does not need user interaction, right? So, last one in our stack is a Trojan. Like a virus, this needs user interaction, but it's different. There's a difference in a Trojan. A Trojan tries to fool you by giving you something you want. It gives you a program you want, and that's called the overt program or the overt action, right? But packaged with that program is a covert program. So it doesn't replicate itself. It does require user interaction. So those are two big points you need to know. First of all, requires user interaction like a virus, but it does not replicate itself. Important to know. So we need a user to open this thing and install a program. Normally, if you go out and you get something like a free version of an expensive program, like say you want to get Adobe Photoshop, and we know that's kind of expensive, so you can go out sometime on these boards and they'll be available for free to download. It goes back to the old adage, nothing is free. So when you download those programs, a lot of times attached to them is another program, something like Sub 7, which allows remote access. It's called a remote access tool, or a RAT, and we'll talk about those later. But with a Trojan, you're going to get a covert program, which is that secret program that the attacker doesn't want you to know is there, and an overt program, which is going to be the thing that you want, in this case, like Photoshop. And the reason they do that is because when you install that program like Photoshop, it's going to say something like, hey, do you want to install this program? And you're going to say, yeah, I want Photoshop. So you click yes, and it gives all the permission for that thing to be installed on your computer. So it's a way to get around something. Obviously, the name comes from, a bunch of Trojan soldiers, a bunch of soldiers getting the Trojan horse to attack Troy. They're not Trojan soldiers, I shouldn't say, but a bunch of soldiers getting in the Trojan horse to attack the city of Troy. So the folks in Troy thought they were getting this big wooden horse statue, but inside of it was a bunch of soldiers to come attack them, because essentially their perimeter defenses were so good that they couldn't, the invading army couldn't get in. So they fooled them by giving them, hey, we quit. Here's a big horse as a gift. We're all leaving. See you later. And when the Trojans pulled the horse in, then it was all bad after that, right? So, anyways, that's the big point. 3 things we need to know: viruses, worms, and Trojans. They're a little bit different, but they're a way to deliver malicious code to your computer. And when we talk about the rest of the things in this first subdomain today, yes, there's going to be a series of videos coming out this very day. We'll cover stuff like crypto malware and ransomware and remote access tools, or RATs, keyloggers, adware, spyware, bots, backdoors, anything else I'm missing here? Oh, and rootkits. Those are all coming today. Stay tuned. Make sure you hit the bell, subscribe, leave some comments below. It'd be great to hear what you guys think about running through this stuff in April. Got a lot of stuff to cover, so it's going to be coming quick, but this is part 1. Know the difference. Viruses require user interaction. They're code. They attach. They can attach to other programs, and they can change. A worm does not use interaction. It's code as well. And then a Trojan requires user interaction and does not replicate itself like a virus does. And it has a covert and an overt program. So hopefully this helps. Later today, you will see a series of videos that are coming after this. They're broken down into small chunks that you hopefully can digest when you get a minute or two. And we're going to just power through Secuirty Plus this month. So stay with us. Comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell, because videos will be coming out like crazy. And obviously subscribe, share with your friends. If you know someone who wants to get Secuirty Plus certified in April, this is a dang time to do it. So thanks to the folks that are up and hanging out with me, and I will see you a little bit later today, and I'll talk to you live tomorrow. If you want to know any information, want to throw comments, live interaction, let me know tomorrow morning. But anyways, we'll see you later.